that's us off to my hometown. See how we go, hey? I'll do some more filming a bit later. Summer. Hopefully now the weather's starting to change, it will go a bit greener again, but yeah, this is basically what it looks like all the time. Looks like we've arrived. Got barbed wire around it now. Oh, things change, eh? Here we are. Spent many afternoons on these beaches. So I'm just home from Mum's and I thought I would do the video straight away because that's everything fresh in my mind. But she gave me some letters that were from my grandpa to my great-grandmother, and boy, they make for interesting reading. And it seems every family has stuff going on, doesn't matter what generation it is. And she gave me the cutest little silver chatelaine notebook cover. So that's what I'm going to include in my journal today, and also write about how I felt when I read the letters. My mum didn't want to be on camera, which is fair enough. This is my channel, not hers. So come with me and I'll show you what I got and how I'm going to use it in my little journal. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so here's all my treasures. Well, it's not everything my mum gave me, but the stuff that you might be interested in. It was amazing. My mum said to take what I wanted of my great-grandmother's, and so I picked a few things out. So I'm just going to go through them with you and then share with you what I'm going to do in my journal today. So let's have a look at the first thing, is these cute little elephants. Oh my goodness, you guys. They're the tiniest little things and they're all cut out of a piece of ivory. They're like 120 years old. I know that we wouldn't do that these days, but they're so sweet, so tiny. There's also this brush, which is made from mother of pearl. Probably see the inlay there. And then it's inlaid with flowers. So everything is so pretty. My great-grandmother came from the upper class. Her family were very wealthy, so she had really nice things. And I think it's a brush for clothing. So like you would brush lint and stuff off your clothes. It's very sweet. This one is the most gorgeous mirror. Look at that. It is silver. So it's got the mirror. And I sat at my mum's and I looked at myself in the mirror. And I thought to myself how strange it was that here's me with this beautiful silver mirror that belonged to my great-grandmother. And I'm looking at myself in it, and she once looked at herself in it. Huh. Amazing. And here are her initials, E-N. They were her maiden name initials. So she had this when she was a little girl. I'm thinking 120, 130 years old. Then there was this little sweet thing. Look at that. Handmade, crocheted. Can you guess what it's for? A tape measure. Look. Oh my goodness, you guys. This tape measure is so old. It's cloth. It's so worn. My, oh my. It's so sweet. And I loved it. Isn't it funny the things that you find precious to you as you get older? But that is so sweet. And then this, look at this. It's a silver chatelaine notebook cover. I hope you can see that. It's got an owl on it, and the owl's wings are out, like he's about to take off. It's silver. Look at the back, you guys. And that also has her initials on it, but they're very, very faint here in the middle. But look at the engraving around the edge. It is so, so sweet. Oh my goodness, I love it. And I do remember seeing it as a child. You know, these things, they've always been sort of there in the background. But to own them myself now is really, really special. And the little pencil, I guess it would have been, comes out at the side. That's got no pencil left in it anymore. Looks like it's seen better days. And then this opens up. Look. Oh, so sweet. So I've had to think about what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that with you now on camera. And then, of course, there's the letters. Well, one never knows what one's going to find. So, these beautiful handwritten letters. Some are typed. This one was what my grandpa sent to my grandma while he was away at the war. There's another one there. He loved her so much, and he was away for nearly 5 years. They were apart. But he talks about, look, devotedly, your very own. It's just beautiful. But the ones that really got me were the ones that were in here. If my voice starts to shake, I'm sorry, but they were quite emotional. It's actually this one here. So when my grandfather met my grandma, my great-grandmother, Emily, didn't like her, and she thought she was a gold digger. And my grandpa wrote this letter to his mum. In 1944, he was already in the war. He was away in the Middle East. And he'd already been married 3 years, you guys. 3 years he'd been married. And his mother still didn't accept my grandmother. It's just so sad. And he writes, hello, and all that sort of things. I think you'll understand why I am writing. It is my earnest desire that you will see your way to clear to forget some things that have happened in the past and try to make things happier. The real reason for this letter is this. I wish you to decide for yourself if you can accept my wife without any of your previous prejudices. And he writes, no, please do not say you will not read further, for it is very important for me and means a great deal to my peace of mind if you will see your way to do as I ask. He goes on. I can't read anymore because it's upsetting. It's so raw, his emotions, and he's pleading with her to love his wife. Now, my grandma was the most beautiful human you would ever meet in your life. Absolutely no reason why my great-grandmother should not have loved her. But she just was being, I guess, bloody-minded. She was from a different class of people. She was upper class. My grandma was middle class, or lower class even. She came from a working class family. And in some of the other letters, she actually writes that she thinks that my grandma's parents wheedled their way into my grandfather's affection so that he would marry my grandma. Oh my goodness, you guys, it was just so awful. Anyway, so I'm not going to read any more of it. Suffice to say that he's pleading with her. And this is 3 years after he's married. Now, my mum wasn't born until 7 years after they were married. So what's happened in the meantime is, I guess, these letters here, they're all handwritten, have gone backwards and forwards. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. pleading with her to, this one's another one. He writes, "My dear mother, just a few lines to let you know I'm still in England." He hadn't left then. That was May 1941. He'd already married my grandma, and when my great-grandmother met my grandma, she actually slapped her face. So, yeah, a lot going on in these letters. And I just thought, well, I might just write on how that letter affected me, because you can hear the emotion in my voice, and it was really quite emotional to read about what he went through pleading with his mother to accept his wife. My grandma and grandpa were inseparable to the day she died, and when he came back from the war, they never went anywhere when they weren't together. And I mean, he went to his work, but that was it. When he came home, they were together everywhere, and they were devoted, a devoted couple. So it really affected me to read that. Anyway, I'm going to write about it. And then there's this lovely, lovely little bag. Looks so simple, doesn't it? And it's something maybe years ago I would have just chucked out. But the work that's gone into it, and you guys, this stitch here is a blanket stitch. And it is so perfectly done. Can you see that? And then it goes over the back. Funny, when you're a crafter, these are the things that mean more to you than, I don't know, the more expensive things, I think. But that's lovely too. So the letters were inside this, and then she gave me all of these little bits to have, and I'm going to put them into my little cupboard now that I have, which has got all the little bits in it that I keep, because I'm basically the keeper of memories these days. I keep all of these things. I've got a whole trunk full of letters, which I'll maybe one day show you when I do a show around of my craft room. They sit just to my left, and I often get them out for inspiration and just to think about what my grandparents and great-grandparents went through. I have shared with you before that my great-grandfather was a POW in World War I, and I did a little spread on him as well. So, yeah, my family and its history are very important to me. All right, let's move all of this aside, and we'll just take the letter, and we'll take the Chatelaine notebook, which I'm going to now convert back to a notebook, and I'm actually going to use it. So let's move these things over here for now. Let's pop that there. I really don't know what I'm going to do with the little elephants, to be true. I mean, it's so beautiful, these little things, but I don't really want them dangling about on my journal, because I take the journal out with me, and I really would hate for them to get lost, so I might just stick them into the china cabinet with all the other things. But I'll see about that. Maybe we'll pop them over here, just next to the candle. I'm not sure that you'll see the candle in a minute anyway. Pop them there. Alright, so let's have a look at the Chatelaine notebook first. And start with that. Alright, so with the Chatelaine notebook, what I thought I would do is make it back into a little notebook and stick it in here to use. And what I did was just quickly grab a few pieces of paper. So I just put a paper clip on them. It's funny when you look at a paper clip and you've got all this old stuff, it seems so silly to use it. So I've got just a clear piece of, I don't know, it's like a tracing paper. It actually came out of a photo album. So I've got that. This picture here is from the same era as my great-grandmother, so I liked the use of that. Then there's just a few things like tickets and blank pieces of paper. I used scanned copies of old letters, and just got bits in there, so they're all around about the same size. So I want to pull all of them up to the top here so that I can fix them into this little notebook. And I'm going to grab my awl, because at the top of this little Chatelaine notebook cover you can see there's a hole here. So with a chatelaine, what they used to do was it was like I'm going to try and insert a photo here, but it was like a belt that went around their middle, and from it hung a hook, which was to tie their shoelaces, and there was other things, like for pills and potions, and also what would have hung as keys, and then the chatelaine notebook. So this little notebook would have hung there as well. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff. And now I'm just going to take that out again. That keeps getting stuck in there. I think it must be slightly bent. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm not sure I'll make that back into a little pencil. I don't know how I would do that. But I'm going to do this, so I want them all to sit pretty well at the top there, level here. Yep, so that's pretty good. And there's lots of little bits and pieces in there, and I'm hoping to use it just to scribble maybe a little note or a little reminder or something in my journal. So let me just grab my awl. Alright, so what I've grabbed is my awl, which I'm going to use to put the hole in the top. I'm using some string which I use to bind with my journals. I've got a fairly thick needle, which I'm hoping will go through these little seed beads that I also chose, because I want them to hold the paper at the top. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I think that needle will go through most of those. Let's have a look. It won't go through those. No. Alright, so plan B, I'm going to grab a thinner needle. The trouble is I'm not going to be able to get the binding cotton through anything thinner. So I'm going to have to use other cotton. That's okay. Plan B. That's what happens when you are crafting. So let's just move this over here. I'm going to bring you down a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. That should be better. Alright, so I'm going to put all these into line as best I can. I think that's pretty good. Yep. And you'll notice when they're inside the little chatelaine book cover that they sit nicely in there, so you can't see them. So we've just got to make sure that they're secure in there. So let's do that now. And what I want to do is just make a hole about here, as high up as I possibly can. I want it to go all the way through, all the way through, all the way through. There we go. That's all the way through now. So I'm just going to hold that on there. Get my cotton. Alright. So let's bind these up. Need to start from the back, don't I? So we don't see my knot. One more should do it. Like I said, it's not going to be pulled around in any great thing. So that should hold it. Now we want to go up through the top of the chatelaine with the needle in through the hole, through there. There we are. Right. I'll pull my notebook up to the top. Up into there, like so. Make sure it's lined up where you want it to be. Pull it nice and tight. And now, if we put these little beads, so I'm thinking probably a little mother of pearl one, kind of goes with a little comb, doesn't it? So one of those. Thread it back through that one. And hopefully, yeah, the idea for the binding was a little bit different to that, but doesn't matter, you have to improvise sometimes. Alright, that there will hold that pretty tight, I think. So let's just cut it up here, and I might tie that in a knot as well. I think it's going to be quite cute actually. So let's move those over there. Let's get my, there's another couple of beads there, look. All right, so let me just show you what it looks like before I put it away. See, so when I open it up now and I'm out and about, I've got like a little notebook that I can use that will inspire me to maybe write a little note about something. Really cute. Love it. Alright, let's pop this back in here like that. And I think I'm just going to put it in here. Sticking out? No, maybe not. Let's try the little side pocket here. Let's try putting it in that way. That's what I love about this journal, you guys. Like, there's loads of little pockets everywhere. Look, see? It's just got a little dangle hanging off. And you know what? I've got some silver beads. I might just change that and put some silver beads on it. But for now, that's tucked into the little pocket. And it's quite happy there. Let me take you out the other way. There, look, see? So it just sits nicely in the little pocket down the bottom. And I can just pull it out whenever I like, put it back in. All right. Okay, let's do the writing part and hope that I don't get too emotional when I'm doing it. So let's start a new page, brand new page. Now I got a new stencil that arrived yesterday as well, which is really sweet. I just ordered it off of eBay. But I actually really like it. So it's numbers. It's just that, like that. But I really like it for a background. It's really cute. And then in it she also gave me, look, an elephant. So, because we had our elephants here, that would be the inspiration. I really would like to do a rubbing of the front of here, but I don't know what kind of paper to use, to be honest. So let's see if I can find something to do a rubbing of that. And I might need something just to weigh that down. Let's use my stone. That looks nice, doesn't it? Alright, let's get started. But I'm loving the elephant because that will go with the little elephants that came today. The lady also sent me a little tag, which I thought was really sweet. It's sort of, I don't know what kind of wood it is, but it's very thin. But I thought that would be nice sort of hanging as well somewhere. Alright, you can see I've done a couple of rubbings to see if it would work out. They're not great, but this second one is a lot better. You can actually see the detail of the owl. The first one's not really great. The second one is pretty good actually up close. I mean, it doesn't do justice to the actual item, but let's just have one more go. I'm going to actually wrap that around tight and see if it makes a difference. Let's try that. Maybe it won't move so much. Maybe that will work. Well, that one's not bad at all. That one might be the best. Let's have a look. Alright, so that's those two. This one here is from Ruby and Pearl. Just printed that off. I quite like the look of the old book cover. And that's that piece of fabric that I scanned and copied. And I'm thinking that would be really nice on that sort of side of the page. So I just want to take a piece off, and then my rubbing of my owl. Now I did another one as well, so these three that I did here were when the paper was doubled up, and then I suddenly realized that it was doubled up and I did a single one, and you can see there probably with the lighter book behind it, but that has come out really quite well. So I'm just going to roughly sort of cut around that, just to stick on that piece of paper. So I went and got the letter that I was talking to you about, which is this one here, the one my grandpa wrote to my great grandmother, and I scanned that as well and copied it and aged it. So I'm going to actually put a copy of this into the journal. But something like this will be something that I could maybe stick into a pocket here, and I've got it there, and I could even write the date. So let's get this stuck down now. This piece of scanned fabric. Alright, so I'm happy with how that looks. So I'm just going to glue it down because the paper is very thin, so it won't really matter. Yeah, so that sits there like that. It's really sweet, and it's kind of raised up from the paper as well, which is really nice. So that's my little owl, and that's to like remember it. So that's really nice. Now off camera I also did, I used the little stamp that I got free with my big stamp, the number 1 here. So I used that and just made this little tag, and I put 44 on it because that's the year the letter was written, and elephants because that will tie in nicely with the memory of that. So I'm going to find somewhere to stick that also. And I might just do a couple of numbers just around the edge, just to soften those edges. Just so that I've got something on the edges. And then we've still got our little piece of paper that I got from Ruby and Pearl. I love that. I think it's a cover from an old book. But Andrew's got some beautiful things on her site. And I'm wondering if I do it like a flip so that I write inside that. Alright, stick that back through the right way. Maybe we'll stick that down. Yeah, I do like that. That looks good. Just age it a little bit. Alright, so I went to visit my mum. She gave me a few of the items that belonged to Great Grandma Wood. And one of the letters really got to me. It's where Grandpa is pleading with his mother to accept Grandma. That's my grandma. And it was so sad. It really made me realise that every generation has their troubles. And that's so true, isn't it? Every generation does have their troubles. And we think we're unique when things come up, but we're not. Every generation has them. I guess we think that nobody else has been through what we're going through. But they have. They've all been through it. Plus there was a war on. Goodness me, that's like huge, isn't it? Now the letter, maybe I could attach a bit of lace and actually put the letter down here, which might be quite nice to sort of have it there so that I know what I was talking about, and I could write on there that this is the letter. Right, there we are. So I couldn't find a bit of lace and it made it a bit bulky, so what I've done is just put the same piece of paper as here. So we've got my writing in here, what I thought about the letter on that beautiful paper, and I've also stenciled 44 here because that's the year the letter was written, and then I've also done it here. And then I'm just going to add the letter into here, and that will sit in there like that. So you'll see that I've added the little tag here to the end. I could get quite busy just there. And then some washi there and there. We've got this background here, I've just sort of shaded in pencil along there. We've got our rubbing of our chatelaine notebook. We've stuck our chatelaine notebook in here. So yeah, believe and hope. Get some inspiration maybe from something that you've got lying around the house. But thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you for the next episode. Thanks very much. Bye-bye now.